Hello, hello. I hope you all are doing great. I'm going to share the link for this live in the chat window so you can also share it out to people and get more people on the live. So we're going to wait for a few more people to join in. Welcome, welcome. I am Nzali. All right, I've posted that link in the live for you. All right. All right. So, for those of you who are in the live right now, if you could just go ahead and type in where you are logging in from, that would be great. I would love to see where people are coming from. Hi, welcome, welcome. I see some likes. All right. Where are you all coming from? That's what I would like to see. So, in the chat window, type where you're coming from so that I know who all is in the building. Again, if you want to share this chat with somebody, I have put the link in the chat window so you can share it out to family, friends, so that we can get some more people in on the live today. Right now, I see about 3 people, and I'm looking for some more. Okay. Hey, cousin. I see you calling in from Charlotte. That's my hometown. All right. Any others who are in? You can just let me know where you're coming from. Hi, Vinda. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's nice to see you. Where are you right now? Where are you calling in from, or where are you logging in from? Put it in the chat window. All right. Hi, Mawena. All the way from Ghana. Oh, I love it. Ghana is my second home. So I love it. Accra. Okay, good, good. Like I said, Ghana is my second home. So, I got both of my homes here. I have Charlotte and I have Ghana, Accra. San Antonio, Texas. Awesome. I've never been to San Antonio. Just Houston. But I don't know. Maybe I'll make my way there. I've heard great things about it. So I'm excited to maybe travel down there one day. All right. We have some more people joining in. While you're waiting, you can like the video. You can share the link so that you can get some other people in. And yeah, we're going to get started in just a minute. So you can like, you can comment, share the link, subscribe if you like to. All of the above. And if you haven't told me where you're listening in from today, then you can definitely put it in the chat window. Let me see. Right now, it's looking like Charlotte and Ghana and Texas. Philly in the house. I love Philly. Absolutely. I haven't gone in a few years, but I absolutely do love Philadelphia. I don't like to go when it's too cold though, but other than that, wow. All right, from Vegas. All right. I've never been to Vegas. I don't like losing money. So that's why Vegas has never like attracted me. But I know plenty of people like to go and some like to live too. All right. Who else is in the chat? Where you calling from or where you here from? Originally from New York. Uh-huh. Okay, awesome. What part of New York? Like New York State or the city? Ah, so it's fun to live there. That's cool. Okay, so I see on the call someone is saying their brother wants my hand in marriage. I don't know if that's gonna work. My cousin's on the line. So cousin, what's my bride price? Mm-hmm. I think that's funny though. I'm actually taken. So yeah. Brooklyn. Okay, Brooklyn. My auntie was from Harlem. So most of my family lived in Harlem, that lived in New York. And then also I used to spend my summers in Harlem. So I'm more familiar with Uptown than anything. All right, so we are 5 minutes in, and I want to go ahead and get started. I want to thank each and every one of you, Vinda, Jaquila, Mawena, Zaylin, Dr. Ranger, Akanke Washington, everybody who's on and all that are about to join. Again, I'm going to put the link in the chat for you to share with other people. But thank you all for joining me on this Friday in January the 13th. I'm so excited. This is my very first live on YouTube. You can clap with me. And so I am learning as I'm growing and growing as I'm learning, right? So welcome to Nzali Takes Africa. This is a YouTube channel started by me, and the whole purpose of this channel is to encourage, to inspire, and to help Black millennial women live, work, or play on the African continent. Very simple. If you want to come and play for Dirty December, if you want to work for an international company or start up your own business, or if you want to live full time, maybe you want to, just kick your feet back, take a year sabbatical, relax, but do it in Africa, then this is the channel for you. And you should definitely tell everybody about this channel. So again, thank you for joining in. And I will be doing a live every week on my YouTube channel. If you subscribe and turn on the notification button or bell, then you will know when that live is happening and you can get the alerts. Simple as that. All right, I see someone says they love Harlem too. Oh, you went to Howard. Okay, so then you're a fellow Bison. Okay, thank you for joining. I know where you found me then, because I posted in our platform. So thank you for joining me today. So I'll start off with just saying a little bit about me. So my name's Nzali. I am from North Carolina, but for the past 5 years, I have been living in Ghana, and before that, I was living in South Africa. So I have a love for traveling. That's number one. And not only do I love to travel, but since I've touched the African continent, now I want to go everywhere. As of now, I've been to 5 countries on the African continent, but I want to go to more. And so this whole channel was really to kind of fill a gap. When I was researching and trying to find information about where to go in Africa, how I can set up and live, and all of those things, there were a lot of people who were much older than me. So they were like 50, 55. They were early retirees, pensioners, or, things like that. But when it came to young women, because at the time that I first came to when I first went to South Africa, I was 25. So finding a 25-year-old on YouTube who's talking about, yeah, I'm living in Africa was basically non-existent at that time. And so since I have been here, oh no, was I 25 or 27? No, I was 20, I think I was 26 going on 27 is when I first went to South Africa. So either way, I was in my like mid 20s. And so finding someone who was my age, who was doing it, just wasn't there. And so I had the idea then to start this channel. However, I was scared. So I bought an iPhone, all of that, and then never started the channel. So now here we are. Last year, at the end of the year, 2022, I got up the courage and I was like, just push record. Just push record. And I'm glad that I did it later as opposed to doing it then, because there's so much that has happened in that time. And there's so much more that I can share and that I know that I didn't know at that time. I've developed as a woman. I also have developed in the African context. And so I'm like, okay, now is the perfect time. So this is the divine timing. And the actually you being on the call, you being here with me today is also divine timing, right? Maybe it's your time to take that first trip or decide you want to live or start looking for work opportunities on the continent. Somebody said they're trying to press record on the channel too. Just do it. That's my piece of advice. Don't overthink it. Sit in your house, get a blank background, and just press record. You don't even have to be all fancy with the editing. Leave that for later, or hire a college student or somebody else who can do it. Because the biggest step is just pushing record. That's my piece of advice for anybody who's trying to do something very similar. All right, now, so that's a little bit about me. I do live in two places. Of course, I'm from the States, but I also live in Ghana, so I go back and forth. Right now, I am in North Carolina with my family, but I will be back to Ghana later in this year, probably around February, March. So I go to both places. All right, now, I am looking for a country to visit this year. I'm thinking it's going to be East Africa, but I'm not 100% sure. So I would like for you to tell me where you think I should go. And it has to be on the African continent because that's where I'm looking to travel. So if you have another country in mind that you think might be good for me, put it in the chat. Maybe it's on your wish list. Okay, she says, yes, I'm in the group, in the Zetas group. Oh, for Woman King. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for supporting us. I am a Zeta, and we do have a chapter in Ghana, and we did the filming for that. So thank you. Thank you so much, Kukua, about my citizenship. Yes, I am a citizen in Ghana, and I'm super thankful. Okay. Senegal. Somebody says Senegal, Zanzibar. Two people have said Zanzibar, and that is definitely on my list. It actually, this might be the one for this year, to be quite honest, because Tanzania, Zanzibar, all of that has been on my list because I love a good beach. Like, I absolutely love the beach. So those are places that really speak to me because I have to be around water. So I'm excited. Any others? The Indian Ocean is your favorite. Because it's pretty. It's not like the Atlantic. I mean, I don't want to crap on the Atlantic, but but they are better places. Yes, we probably could. You live in Tema. Okay, I'm in Accra. So we definitely could. Cape Verde, I've heard, also has very, very nice beaches. And it's always warm. And so that's on my list. If you want to treat me to a nice trip and you know I'm going to love it, water, coconut, warmth, those three: water, coconut, and warmth, and I'm going to be 100% okay. That's all I really need. That is all that I need. So I've had Zanzibar, I have Cape Verde, I have Senegal on the list for places that maybe I should go this year. So I'm excited about that. I will definitely take those into consideration. And when I go on my trip, I will take you along with me for the planning process and vlog while I'm there, because I know you want to come along with me. So that leads me to the final reason why we started the channel. That is to share experiences, right? I think oftentimes when people think about the African continent, we're thinking about the archaic description, right? We don't recognize that there are people, places, and things that are there that are just as beautiful as any other place around the world, if not more beautiful. So this channel is also to kind of show the possibility, to share those experiences, and hopefully somebody will, join me. Join me. And then Kukwa says there's no visa required for all three of those countries if you have a Ghanaian passport. So that's me. All right, so that's perfect. One less step of things that I need to do in order to go. So now basically all I need is a ticket and accommodations. Everything else I can work out when I get there. All right. So, for those of you who are subscribed, thank you. For those of you who are not subscribed, I want you to do that right now and not only subscribe, but also check that notification bell so that you can get alerts. And I want to celebrate all the support because I started this channel at the end of November and it has been what almost 2 months now, and we have over 500 subscribers. And I just think that that is super, super dope because, we're almost to 1,000 subscribers in 2 months. And that is just like, number one, I didn't know it was going to happen that way. So I'm super excited about it. But I'm just, like, wow, you know, just wow, 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 wow. So my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers, people who are logging in and joining me on this travel journey. So for you to help me with that, you need to subscribe and also tell people. And congratulations to all of those who have already been supporting. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So we have less than 500 more to go to get to 1,000. So let's do that. All right. So today was supposed to be a Q&A. So I wanted to hear some of the questions that you all have and then be able to answer them in full in real time. When I do my pre-recorded videos, I'm on there. I have a topic in mind. I'm going through my points and what I want to share. But sometimes questions come up and it's like way after the fact. So I'm trying to respond in the comments. So today I wanted to open it up for people who are on live with me to ask me any and everything about my travel experiences, how I did it, what's happening in the different places that I've been to, and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to open it up now. You can ask me anything. You can put it in the chat window and I'll be responding. Okay, someone asked, do you need a yellow fever shot to come to Ghana? You do. They won't let you in the country without the yellow fever card, which is the little yellow card. You can get it at I know in Charlotte, we have these like minute clinics that you can go to, just walk in, tell them you want they have like a list of travel vaccinations or shots that you're supposed to get. Yellow fever is the only one that is like 100% mandatory for Ghana. Now, there's a whole bunch of suggested shots, but you don't have to do those. I didn't do any of those. I only got the one that was mandatory. And I think now the shot is valid for like 10 years. So you don't have to get it every year. You can just get it once for a certain amount of time, which I believe is 10 years. And then after that, you're good to go for a while. Yep. And then also Ghana for the COVID vaccination. If you are, so first of all, always go to the travel site because they update that COVID stuff like every 3 months or so. Personally, I think they upload it every time or update it every time they want some more money, but that's neither here nor there. But as of right now, if you already are vaccinated, you just need to show it. If you are not, I believe you just have to have been tested within 48 hours and have proof of that. But don't quote me. I will double check and put that on the community chat because I do believe there was a recent update around like November, December. So that's what I remember, but I will put the updated one on the community chat board. Okay. Can you get in the airport in Accra? And it must, oh yes, you can. I think you're asking me, can you get it? Can you get a yellow fever shot in Accra at the airport? I guess put the question again so I know exactly how you're framing it. Okay. Any other questions about coming to Ghana? I also lived in South Africa. I've also been to Egypt. I've been to Madagascar. I've been to Nigeria for work and play. Madagascar totally felt like I was like in Asia. So it was very different. Egypt felt like, well, Egypt is infiltrated by Arab people, so it kind of gave me like what I would assume the Middle East feels like. So I actually do want to go again, but I want to go with a very specific group of people to do a very specific thing because I don't feel like I got the fullness of what is now called Egypt that I wanted to have. Okay, someone says, do you need a visa to travel, and how much does it cost? So if you're coming from the US going into Ghana, you do need a visa. There's an office in Texas, there's one in DC, there's one in New York. From what I've been told, the one in Texas is faster. I've always processed my visa when I had to get visas for Ghana in DC. So I have not used the New York office. I have not used the Texas office. The DC office never answers the phone. So once you kind of send your documentation, just know they're not going to answer. Also, I also got a visa from South Africa to Ghana. That was actually the first trip I made to Ghana was when I was living in South Africa. I don't know the exact cost as of today. That's something I would have to research. I haven't used a visa for Ghana in since 2019 because that's when I got my citizenship. So I will Google it and then post it in the community. But yes, you need a visa. Now, here's the other thing. If you're planning to come to Ghana and stay for, let's say, more than 3 months, right? When they give you your passport, they're going to stamp it at the airport. They're going to put a date on that stamp. If you do not go and get re-stamped by that day, you technically have overstayed. So even if your visa is a visa for 1 year, but that stamp only says 90 days, right? For the date of when you need a new stamp, and you stay 91 days, now they're going to charge you, I think it's 80 cedis because you've overstayed. So for those of you who are thinking about coming for more than 90 days, then just know that like you will have to leave the country and come back in and have your passport stamped again, which is relatively easy because you can just go into Togo. If you're in Accra, Togo is like a few hours away by car, and come back in. Or maybe you want to do like a West African, extravaganza tour. So you go to Togo, or you go to Nigeria or Ivory Coast or any of those type of places and get another stamp. Or you could just pay the 80 cedis and go from there. Let's see what else is here. They say the one in Arkansas is excellent, but no one knows it's there. I absolutely didn't know that there was one in Arkansas. So yeah, definitely use it because the other ones are always packed. Someone's saying a single entry is $100 and $200 for multiple entries for 5 years. And again, I want to reiterate, even though your visa says 1 year, 5 years, that little date that they put in your passport when they stamp it at immigration when you're coming into the country, that's the date you really have to pay attention to, because that's what they're going to calculate the fee from. And when you're visiting. And I didn't know that. So when I first came to Ghana, I was like, oh, I have a year visa. They stamped my passport. I didn't pay any attention to it. I came back a year later, went to immigration and said, I want to renew my visa. And they were just like, madam, you've overstayed. I'm like, overstayed? What are you talking about? I have a year visa. And they're like, no. You see this stamp here, this date? You're supposed to get it re-stamped after that. So please, people who are coming to visit, know that stamp and that date is the most important. Okay. Ghana is trying to pilot the visa upon arrival. Okay, so visa upon arrival is two things. Number one, there has been a very intentional push for tourism in Ghana. And so with that being said, there's been a lot of requests for visas on arrival. Technically, they do have visa on arrival. There's a whole space that's in the airport for that. However, that process is not 100% smooth. So if you're a person like myself who likes to travel with ease, you don't want to have a lot of back and forth, then I would just say get your visa ahead of time. If you're trying to come and it's like a last minute thing, like maybe you have family in Ghana or something like that, then I would say you can try your luck with the visa on arrival. But they do it. I just know the people, like for example, last year we had a HBCU tour that came into Ghana. They came from Clark Atlanta, Howard, Tennessee State, Morgan State. It was a whole group of HBCUs that came in. And so they were doing the visa on arrival. Now, those that came with the big group, because the tour guide had like connected with immigration in the airport, they were able to kind of process quickly. But those people who had like their separate individual tickets, we had to go down there. The good thing is, though, in Ghana, everything is a conversation, right? So even if you are having a little bit of issues, if you have someone on the ground that can go and petition for you, which is what that group had in myself and my sorority sister and things like that, then we still were able to get people through and get things done. But it's a little shaky. They haven't like really fleshed out the process to where it's just seamless. It happens the same way every single time and there's no conflict. So I always say, if you don't want to have a little back and forth, then just do it in advance until that process is really functioning how it's supposed to. I know Ghana's trying. Okay, we sell that one. Okay, so when are tickets cheaper? So the hot box time is like, okay, so I'm a former teacher, so I'm going to put it in those terms. You know, when students go on break in the States in the summer, those are hot box ticket times, right? The cheaper times are like March, end of February, going into March. Also around like October, September, October are really good times. I would suggest the March, end of February, March, April time, just because it's not rainy season. So in Ghana, we have two seasons. You have rainy season, you have dry season. During that September, October, going into November time, it is rainy season, or it shouldn't be, but because of global warming, it rained all the way through November this year and last year too, really. So that time you may be there during rainy season. And because Ghana has all of these like natural sites where you can do like touristy things, but it's outside, I just wouldn't want to visit during rainy season, right? Because you, by all means, you'll get caught in the rain at some point. And different from the US, when it's rainy season, people don't do a whole bunch of moving around like that because there's flooding and things like that. So I would suggest between those two cheaper times in the year, I would suggest doing the spring. Someone said February. Yes. So like that February, March time is really good. Ghana is very accommodative. Yes. That is one thing. Everything in Ghana, you can, there's no absolute no's. That's what it is. There's never an absolute no. It's just more so, who do you know? And who's going to speak for you. And you know, if you got a little money, that'll really get things moving quickly and without question. Some people have an issue with that. Some people don't, especially coming from the States, don't like the idea of dashing or like not tipping, but like dashing people money or paying people to do something they already get paid to do. But the reality is that is a part of the culture. And then once you live there, like where I work, I make CDs. I'm not making USD. So I understand it. Like people are not making as much. And especially with the economy the way it is right now, those CDs go very quickly. So if they can make some extra money, they're going to try to. So I always have taken Delta to Ghana because Delta has direct flights out of Atlanta, DC, and New York. And that's easy because I'm an East Coast girl. But they also have United. I think United now has a direct flight coming out of DC. But I always take Delta. And you can also go through Europe. Yes. So when I came back home in the end of November, because I came for the holidays and to help out with my family, I did fly through London, but it was still Delta. So usually you'll go from Ghana to London, London to, if you have too many layovers, you'll go to London to New York, then New York, wherever else you're going. But for me, I went from Ghana to London to Charlotte. I bought a lot. I'm from Montpong. You want to get residency. So residency. So first things first, there is a diaspora resource center that now has started in the what is it? Office of Diaspora Affairs in the President's Office. They are basically their job is to help you get settled, right? So I would say if you're coming to Ghana, that is the first place you want to go because they will basically take you through the process. Second thing, when I first came to Ghana, that office was non-existent. So it didn't exist. But basically, residency, you have to have an up-to-date visa. You have to have someone who will basically kind of petition for you in a sense or sign for you. And that documentation, all of that has to be submitted. You have to pay a fee and then you can get your residency. I think it's up to a year. However, if you're working in Ghana, your work permit kind of it's almost like it's a 2-in-1 type of thing. So I know before I had citizenship, I was working at a school, an international school. They processed my work permit for me. So I just basically gave them my passport, my details. They had their agent that they work with. They did the paperwork and my work visa was there with my residency. But I will say again, the Office of Diaspora Affairs, there is a Diaspora Resource Center. Let me actually get their Instagram handle because I want to put it in the chat. And I'm telling people to use it because when I first came, it was non-existent. And what you don't want to do is be running around to a whole bunch of different offices in Ghana because people will give you a runaround. Right? You'll go to this person, they will take a little something, then send you to this person, they'll take a little something, and the whole time you're still waiting for your things to get done. So it's best to have a one-stop shop. So let me put their tag in the chat. And then also because diaspora resource.gh, because they also are under diaspora affairs with the president's office, it's easier to hold people accountable. You can go and put a name to who gave you what information. They are in Osu. So let me also put their address for those who are going to be in Ghana soon. Dr. Esther, oops, sorry. Dr. Esther Oklo Street, Osu. Osu is a neighborhood in Accra. All right, any other questions about traveling abroad? I live in Ghana, but as I said, I've also lived in South Africa. The culture, things you should do, things you shouldn't do, all of that type of stuff. Yes, I think I've given you all of their details. And okay, so yeah, I've given you their details. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody's comment. Travel clinics. Okay, someone was saying that you can get your yellow fever shot in the airport at Accra. Okay. Yes, I have gotten a yellow fever, like not a yellow fever shot, but I like lost my card or some stuff like that, and I was able to fix that there. I didn't know they were actually doing the shots, but thank you for that update. If you're outside of Ghana and you want to get it before, then do like a minute clinic. All right. So again, I wanted to say thank you for everybody who is here with us. We have been live now for about 30 minutes or so. Shout out to all of you who have been supporting because, like I said, we are almost to 1,000 subscribers. We are over the halfway mark, and I'm excited about that. And the goal is to get to 1,000 by March. So I would love for you to help me with that. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you know when I will be going live. I will do it at least once a week. All right, so Kukawa says local food is cheap. However, Western foods are rather expensive. 1,000%. So if you're in Ghana and like, let's say for myself, if I wanted to make, I don't know, Alfredo. Okay, yeah, I'll do Alfredo because I love Alfredo. Number one, I have to go to Maxmart or Game or one of those big grocery stores, right? And the grocery stores, number one, they're foreign owned. Number two, they probably have imported those goods. So that comes with a higher tax. And so by just naturally, the price is higher. Whereas if I were buying things that I can get in the market, then of course it's just cheaper. And in the market, you can negotiate. In the grocery store, I can't negotiate. If they say 10 tomatoes is 5 cedis, 10 cedis, that's what it is. If I go to the market and I'm talking to the lady selling tomatoes, and she tells me this bucket is 15 cedis, I can be like, I'm not down. Let's do 7. Let's do 8. Then we go back and forth, back and forth. Then she gives me the bucket for whatever we agree on, and she probably add a few more and tell me to come to her the next time I'm in the market. Right? So I would say for foreigners coming in, balance it, right? Try to do the local foods to manage your budget, but every now and then you're going to want what you're going to want, right? So every now and then, like I definitely will go and find other types of food. In Accra specifically, they also have there's a lot of Lebanese people, so you have Lebanese restaurants. There's a really nice Ethiopian restaurant. They have other African restaurants that are not from Ghana. What else? Italian. Like you can kind of find a mixture if you live in Accra. Now, once you leave Accra, it gets a little shaky. You're gonna be on a local diet, and that's just the truth. So South Africa, yes. Number one, South Africa is beautiful, the people and the landscape. What I realized, as I think I've said in my Ghana versus South Africa video, was that in, how should I say this? In South Africa, the people like really understand like Black American culture because they had a very similar um, situation going on. And so, because they have that same situation going on, they really understood us. So, it was easier for me to get along in South Africa. I've put the link for that video in the chat. So, if you want to see my comparison between Ghana and South Africa, it's there. But yes, South Africa is a very, very beautiful country. However, what a lot of people don't recognize is the further south you go in South Africa, it actually gets really cold during their winter season. So you want to make sure that like, you know, when you're going, that you're not going during the winter. And the winter is opposite from us. So like right now, it will be hot. Then when it's hot for us, it's cold for them. So yeah. And when I say us, I'm meaning those coming from the States. And yes, South Africa definitely has a better infrastructure. And this is why. So when they were going through apartheid, they had interstate systems set up for white people. They had, or Afrikaners, as they call them. They had an interstate system for like the Indians, the coloreds, and blacks, right? So they had 3 systems. They basically had like 3 of everything. So then once apartheid kind of came down, they really did. I mean, the infrastructure was already there. They just really had to do more so of connecting. So they definitely are far more advanced than some of the other places. Ghana still needs a lot of work with our like interconnecting systems by road, because right now all of the major roads are roads that lead to natural resources. And that's because the people who colonized Ghana, the British, they were there to extract. So they made sure that there were roads to extract. But now what? Right? So there has been some development, but there's a lot more we can do. Do I really like living in Ghana? I do like living in Ghana. However, it is not easy. And it's not easy because of the cultural differences. Specifically, there, how do I describe this one? Maybe I should do a whole video on this one. But in the US, we are very direct people. And in Ghana, directness is disrespectful. So finding the balance between that thin line is very, very difficult. And it snowballs into other things. So I do enjoy Ghana because overall it is less stressful. And I do have a video about why I chose Ghana. Overall, when I'm balancing the two, Ghana is less stressful, but the nuances of Ghana do make it a little bit difficult. Is rent expensive in Accra? Absolutely. I'm going to say rent is expensive. And that is looking at when I first came to where it is going now, it has like jumped extremely. And for a person coming from the US, you're going to say it's not expensive, right? So when I think about my rent, I think I spent about 1,200 US dollars for the year. Someone living in the States is spending that for a month. However, when you live in Ghana and you're making the local currency, you're like, why? Especially when I know 5 years ago, I could have gotten something like what I have now for way less, based on the location and Accra that I'm in. Also, because there are a lot of foreigners coming into Accra specifically, now some of the nicer developments are charging in USD and not in CDs anymore. So, hi, Kelly. Thank you for joining us. So, because some of those places that would meet your US standard are now being charged in dollars, it can be expensive. So, like, I know someone who is paying like $700, $900 a month. To me, that's like asinine for Accra, because I'm like, you can get something for like way less. And so it's not as expensive as the US, clearly. But if you're a person coming into the country and you're not making USD, it's going to be expensive for you. And I don't like the trajectory of where we're going. I really don't, if I'm being honest. Yeah, gentrification in Accra is a real thing. And I have definitely seen it over the 5 years that I've been there. And I'm not happy about it. So that's the difference. There's one thing I wanted to speak about before we log off for today. So, as I said in the beginning, this channel, Nzali Takes Africa, is about sharing experiences. It's about helping Black women who want to live, work, or play on the African continent. So we do need to determine what's the difference between living, playing, and working. Usually, if you're coming into Ghana and you're working for an international company or of that type of sort, most of these things you're not even thinking about. You're not thinking about your visa and how much it costs. You're not thinking about residency, because they probably will provide you with a list of options that they pay for. You probably may not even think about transportation. Depending on how high up in the company you are, they will give you that transportation. So really, when you're working in the African context, especially for some of these multinational or international companies, you are not, what should I say? You're not thinking about all these nitty gritty things. Even for myself, when I went to South Africa, I was working under the with the Peace Corps, which is technically under the Embassy of Federal Government program. I didn't have to worry about anything. I had a stipend that came every month. I didn't have to worry about how I was getting around. Like, everything was basically taken care of. That's one experience. Another experience is what just happened in December. People who are coming to play. They're coming for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? You are getting the best of the best of Ghana. So it's like, your parents send you somewhere for the first time, they're going to send you in your best. It's the best representation of your family that you could possibly give on the first interaction. That's what happens when you come to play. Right? Then when you come to live, like myself, then you get to see some of those little nuances that I'm talking about. Right? You get to see the good, bad, and the ugly of whatever the culture is that you're living in. So I would say, for those of you who are looking to live in an African country, come with work in mind. Like, I would say, come with the company if you can, or a business that's already kind of functioning and moving, because that'll help you transition easily. You won't have as much stress. Then once you've gotten in with that space and you're able to make your connections, then you could transition into the living. If you are coming to play on the African continent at first, come and play, but extend the play for a few months so that you get to feel more so what the economy is like and how it really feels when you're there full time, not just during holiday season, right? It'll give you an opportunity to see the pricing of everything better, and then move into the living. I don't encourage people to just honestly to do how I did, which was just to come and move. Because I had come to Ghana a few times before, but they were play experiences, right? My saving grace is that I had already lived in an African country before. I think I was in South Africa a little over a year, so, or a year and a half. So that was my introduction to living in the African context abroad. And when I was in South Africa, I lived in rural South Africa, which is very different from Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, Port Elizabeth, those type of places. So because that had prepared me a little bit, me picking up and just going to Ghana wasn't as shocking to the system as it could be if you're a person who just came for 2 weeks in December and then decided to move to Ghana, right? So I would say play for an extended amount of time before you live here, or come working and then move on in. All right. So again, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody who is here, who joined the call today. Again, I was here just celebrating the fact that we're over the halfway mark to 1,000 subscribers, looking to have 1,000 by March. All right. And as I said before, I did have a little bit of a surprise or gift for those who joined on the live today. So I'm putting my email in the chat. It is Nzali Takes Africa at gmail.com. If you send me an email today, in the subject, it should say prep list, then I will send you a free prep list of what you will need, like a checklist of items and things that you need to do to prepare for your first trip to the African continent. All right. So again, if you want that free resource, then you will email me at nzalitakesafrica@gmail.com. In the subject line, you want to put prep list so that I know you were from this live, and then I will send over that free resource to you all. Okay, again, if you are not subscribed, subscribe. Click on the notification bell so that I know and you can know whenever I go live or post new content. And like, comment, and share this video with everybody. All right. Thank you all for joining me. You've been on with me for 45 minutes. I love you all. I'm so excited to continue to share everything that I know. And yeah, and to continue to grow with you all. You all are now my adopted travel buddies, right? And as I said, I am going to another country this year. I have taken the suggestions from earlier, so I will definitely take you all on that journey with me as I go. Until next time, everybody, bye-bye. See you all later. Sorry, last thing. No, I do not speak fluently any African language. When I was in South Africa, I was learning Xitsonga, and I was quite intermediate. The tree in Ghana and the Ga, God help me, I have not been able to master that in the slightest bit, and I don't hear it well. Like when I was in South Africa, the Xitsonga, I could hear it, I could repeat it, but in Ghana, I haven't been, as fortunate. Also, when I was in South Africa, I took a language class for like the first 3 months. So I think that helped me. All right, bye, Indy. And all right, I'll see you all later. Bye bye.